You are now listening to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast, a weekly review of Monday Night Raw and other wrestling-related topics. And here's your hosts, Peter Day and Jake Grandi.
Yeah! I know, right? Boot 'em out to the truck.
Turn the bass up.
You are now... Oh, fuck, man. 78?
79?
70-something. That's our new gimmick. We never know what the fuck Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling episode. Next week, I told myself, I beat myself in the skull to say, hey, remember to look before we hit that damn record button.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can never remember either.
So I'm going to get... shit, I'm not going to guess. Just 78. I think maybe it's 78. I don't know. But you're watching episode 78. It's going to be 78 next year. We're going to just... Every week's going to be episode 78.
Okay.
Of the Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin podcast. Man, and if you're watching on YouTube, it's a different setup than normal. Very much like I had set up for Peter's Raw recap. My table's gone. I used my table to sell some merch and forgot to get it. It's at the club that I DJ at. And so we're on my coffee table. Got the mic set up. And it looks weird, but
it kind of looks, I mean...
He loves it.
Yeah, I love it. The shadow in the background, everything.
You love it, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like up on the camera. Back up a little bit.
I'm trying to get up on the mic.
I know you're trying to get up on it.
I can talk a little softly at times.
Cause, yeah, here we go. Now we look balanced in the camera.
Okay.
All right, so, man.
We can do best of the worst? Or best of the worst? Not best of the worst.
Best of the worst. I mean...
I had a pretty shitty... I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My worst is definitely the Panthers losing the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
I haven't watched ESPN since. I was getting a burrito... And I saw Cam Newton look sad on ESPN, so I just walked away. I don't even want to see it. But people at school have been telling me that he's been accused of betting on the other team. Everyone's calling him a sore loser. Yeah, that's what someone told me.
I don't care what these people think.
I mean,
it doesn't matter what these people think. They just want to fucking just talk shit. That happens after every big event. Whether it's the Super Bowl, the World fucking Series, a big fight, Wrestle fucking Mania, it don't matter. Yeah, people gotta yap, point out the more polarizing figure and try to make his life a living hell. You know what? Anyone who... I don't like to use the word hating on Cam, but anyone who's like... You need a life. You need a life. This guy, he didn't rob a bank. He didn't rape somebody.
You kind of build these people up to fall. It's kind of like a weird thing we're doing in our culture.
He didn't hold up a bank. He didn't molest a child. He didn't do anything. All he did was get angry because he lost a fucking game. The biggest game of there is outside of the fucking World Cup. Okay?
Good point. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I'm just upset they lost, man. To even just like see the people who were maybe Broncos fans or didn't even give a shit, like talking shit. I got really drunk. I got sick the next day. I mean, it was just bad. It was just it spilled over to my life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it never, whatever. The fact that I was trying to sell those shirts, because I went to Charlotte. Yeah. And it was awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was badass.
I watched the game at NYP, and I wasn't the only one wearing it. I got to say, there was someone that was working there that had it on.
That's pretty dope. Oh, yeah, it was probably Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that it caught on a little bit. People knew.
Yeah, and in Charlotte, we would just sell those things hand and foot. And I showed up with like 125, and my partner had the guy that I sold the shirts with, not my partner. We sold like a good 100 shirts, man.
There you go.
We sold like a good 100 shirts, and we could have sold the rest of them, but we lost the game, and it was like a wake. I felt like I was at a wake. Even during the game, like third quarter, like it seems like every time we would try to establish momentum in the game, it just got stunned.
Yeah, the defense definitely. They didn't score any. The Broncos didn't score any offensive touchdowns, so I feel like I don't know. I guess that's saying something, but I mean the defense wins championships with that one fumble into the end zone. So
the Seahawks won with their defense. It's not like their offense went. Well, they went ham on fucking.
That's true.
But the defense also as well. But nevertheless, man, what's your best?
Oh, my best. Yes, last night Mike Jones liked my tweet.
I saw that. Did he have a blue star? Did he have a blue check?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that until like earlier this afternoon that might not be the Mike Jones, but I like Googled to make sure that I was referencing the real Mike Jones. So I Googled.
You gotta, blue check. You gotta do the blue check. My homie Troy, he was, doing this shirt business with the stuff. He was going back and forth with some guys that was saying that they were certain Panther players. But I was like, was there a blue check beside the name? Verified account.
Nah.
And he was like, no. He's like,
I'm fairly new to Twitter. I didn't know about the blue check.
Yeah, the blue check. That's verified. Everyone's got to be verified.
Hell yeah.
And
I just watched a Vice documentary about it. It was like Confessions of a Troller on the internet. And yeah, there's guys that, this one guy sounded like the singer of the Black Keys. So instead of saying that there was his original stuff, he just said that he was this guy. And he called it Rare Tracks. And he said that he got more plays than he's ever has on his own music, but he feels,
yes,
he had to confess, saying it wasn't him.
Well, if there's no blue verified check beside the name, then 9 times out of 10, 10 times, 11 times out of 10 is not them.
I didn't think about this, but I just hope that it is the real Mike Jones, the one and only.
Well, we'll see in a minute.
I was told you can't clone him though in this song. He's the one and only. You can't clone me.
Hey, that doesn't apply to Twitter. Cloning does not apply to Twitter whatsoever. Actually, there's a cloning device inside of Twitter that you can produce as many accounts as a motherfucker you possibly want.
I got like 2 or 3 wrestling news accounts. It's like whenever wrestling news will post something, like the next one above it will be wrestling news with like a Ric Flair face posting it too. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't trust Twitter as far as I can throw it. Like seriously,
I hear you.
Until I see that blue. Like I got an ad from. Like a Carolina Panthers hockey player.
Florida Panthers.
No, not Florida Panthers, but the Hurricanes.
Oh, Hurricanes.
Like and he had the verified account and everything, and it was dope. I was like, all right, cool, that's what's up.
Hell
I
yeah.
had Roman Harper like my shit. First thing I looked for, that blue. Hey, that blue verified? Yep. He liked my Instagram and my Twitter, both verified accounts, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm good with that. But
nice.
like anyone that just says like Keekly, L Keekly, 58,
Oh yeah, of course those things. But I think I don't know. I thought wrestling and like rappers who were famous 10 years ago was enough of a niche market that would it would just be them. I didn't think they had to verify.
Gotta verify.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah. So that was what's your best?
Best was the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh,
the going to the Super Bowl, going to Charlotte, selling the shirts.
That sounds
it
kind
was
of
like
fun,
the
exhilarating.
greatest time. I mean, if you saw the images on Instagram or whatever, it was like people just buying the shirts and taking pictures with them. Got on the radio. A whole bunch of great stuff happened that day. The Super Bowl. A lot of great things happened that day. The worst of the weekend, worst of the weekend. A combination of things. Well, the Super Bowl losing, the Panthers losing the Super Bowl, and Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire. I don't know if you have listened to Earth, Wind and Fire before, but like it's almost very standard in a black household that you know yourself some Earth, Wind and Fire, that you got a couple of their records sitting around the house. You've been to a couple of their concerts.
Yeah.
It's just like everything that Earth, Wind and Fire has ever done has been amazing. Maurice White, who was the person who started the Earth, Wind and Fire as a version of Rotary Connection. It was another version of this band called Rotary Connection, where there was like this very big arena sounding group that was like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's good stuff. It's like rock meets jazz meets like gospel. And Maurice White, he started off as the drummer of Ramsey Lewis, and then he started Earth, Wind and Fire, and he died, I think, a couple of days ago. And he seriously, just in the music world, like, you could talk about Bowie dying and all, a bunch of other like white like musicians that die and they get all this notoriety and stuff. Maurice White and what he did with Earth, Wind and Fire, he did just as much damage in the music world with what he did solo and with Earth, Wind and Fire. But you don't get people talking about it. But that's how the music music go. Like I would say more than Lemmy, and that's not like saying to make a comparison. It's just that like the impact that Maurice White had on music it's not to the level of David Bowie, but it's damn close. It's damn close, and I just wish more white music fans knew about Earth, Wind, and Fire. They would understand why it was such a big deal that we lost him, and that's my best and worst of the week.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I didn't know about his death. It sucks.
Well, you don't even know who he is.
No, I know Earth, Wind, and Fire. My dad loved Earth, Wind, and Fire and shit. I think he saw them like a few years ago, actually. But yeah, so I know who that is.
All right.
I definitely didn't know he was dead or anything like that or passed away.
Yeah.
But moving on to wrestling news. I know we'll talk about Daniel Bryan later, but as Vince McMahon was leaving, saying goodbye to Daniel Bryan, I guess Titus O'Neil got swept up in the moment and grabbed him, shook him a little bit. It looked like, I watched it, and what I read about it was just like a playful, like, you know,
locker room. It was locker room fucking
shit. Yeah, when you get excited for your friend, you grab, you shake him. It's just like a thing that happens. But I guess it's Titus O'Neil shaking like his boss, who is 70. So Vince got pissed and pushed him. And then I guess Vince got embarrassed that that little thing got caught on television. Got caught if you watch the WWE Network. This is my opinion here. And then he suspended him for 90 days. That goes past WrestleMania. So no WrestleMania paycheck for Titus O'Neil, a guy who has been doing, in my opinion, great things, charitable work, and in the ring. I mean, you can't.
They've been giving him wins.
They've been giving wins. They've been pushing him. I guess, Vince. But I mean, this is gonna stop with the actual push of Vince. This sucks.
He's been kind of in limbo. I don't believe that he's going to be suspended for 90 days. I think this was a jerk reaction to fuck with him. I think he'll be back next week. I think it's one thing about like the IWC is that things like this arise and then it's like, oh my God, let's blow it out of proportion. Do you honestly think? And if they do, I mean, I'll put my foot in my mouth. But if they proceed with 90 days, a 90-day suspension for just sort of locker room humor.
Oh, I don't know if it's going to be actually 90 days, but I think what I saw was Titus O'Neil confirmed that the suspension as of right now, it is 90 days, and he got sent home early at arriving at the SmackDown tapings.
Yeah, he'll be.
That's the news. So I don't think it'll be 90 days like you're saying. I think they're going to.
It's silly. It's petty.
Especially as thin as the roster is. Here's a healthy guy, a guy who does all this charitable work. Put him on your. Why? I mean. Come on, shake it off, Vince.
Bring your chair down some. Break it down some. Just break it.
On,
no.
Don't worry about it.
There we go. So we can be even. It's like you're like...
We're not even. You're taller than me now, but it's cool. We'll get into it.
All right. So, yeah, and it's a shame. Again, it really shows how childish Vince could be. Again, I think it's more knee-jerk than anything because he didn't pose a threat to Titus. I mean, Titus didn't pose a threat to him. I think he was just highly annoyed. I think the situation itself, because even that moment where Daniel Bryan goes to hug him, I think it was very cold. I saw, and maybe, he wouldn't look at him, he wouldn't talk to him. I think he probably even said something in his ear, and he was probably still riled up about that because, like, fuck you, Vince. You took this from me, and walked off. It just didn't look like a clean, congrats or, thank you kind of a thing between the two. And then all of a sudden you got some dude like grabbing you out of the blue. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, damn, that's not where my head is right now. So again, I see it as more knee jerk, but still, nevertheless, for some news like this to get out like that, shame on you, WWE. Shame on you, WWE, for letting news like that get out. Like, come on, man. Keep shit like that in-house, Or even, like, just, yeah. Like, fuck that. If they don't put that shit on .com, then they're not going to forego the 90 days. He'll be back next week.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess he's in the doghouse until further notice. But
he doesn't move the needle. It's like, whatever. He's in, like, these gimmick matches. He lost to, like, one of the social outcasts.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy his matches. I'm kind of bummed he's going to be gone. Maybe on next Raw. I like the squash match, and especially if he starts going against social outcasts and stuff. I think that's going to be good comedy.
Yeah.
But anyway, a quote that kind of, like, went around the internet now is Okada said that he will never go to the WWE. It's a quote. It was translated, but yeah, I guess he what people are saying is maybe TNA put a bad taste in his mouth for North America, and he's also very young, so he could be saying all these things now, and of course things change in the future. But for right now, he's adamant and loyal to New Japan. I think it's what New Japan needs from a guy that's your flag bearer.
Okada's full of shit.
Yeah,
and I think he's not that young. He know where his bread is buttered, and you look at your AJ Styles, you look at your Shinsuke Nakamura's, and it becomes a work now. Like, I'm loyal. I'll never turn my back on New Japan Wrestling. Regardless of what happened in TNA, he got that check. Whatever happened in ROH, he got that check. He'll take an opportunity. You don't just, again, like we were talking about all the Machine Gun Kelly and all those guys that may be coming over. It's like, well, it's not like anybody can fucking make it to the WWE. Not everyone can make it to the WWE. That's the best of the best. It's the best in the world. These guys work their asses off. Their work schedule, their work ethic is like unmatched. So like, if you haven't gotten an invite, Okada, that's not, I'm not buying the fact that you'll never go. When you get that invite, you're going to consider it. And you may even just go, regardless of whatever bitter taste in your mouth. I don't buy that. That sounds more like a work, him getting more over in New Japan as a very loyal person. But you're full of shit.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where he means it now. I don't think it's like exactly work. I think he does recognize that that's what he's supposed to say. But I think,
goddamn right.
When you push 30, I mean, fuck, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's a work. It's not a shoot. It's a work, and it's going to work out. I mean, I don't know why he had to say it. I mean, like why he think he needed to say it. I mean, they love him over there already. It's not like they're going to love him any more than what they already do. I don't know. I just find it to be kind of childish and petty for him to even say. And as much as he cries, I imagine that just goes along with the program.
Someone who's might be jumping ship here recently is Rey Mysterio. Not involved with AAA anymore. This is kind of going with the flow of course, Alberto Del Rio left for WWE, Mystico left for CMLL, and he says it's because he's owed X amount of money and he bad business decisions. I think, and also Conan said on his podcast, or Court Bauer said for Conan that he's no longer head booker. He is jumping down to. He still works for the company, but he let go of that headache and he's taking care of some other stuff. And from what I understand, this family that's been running AAA for a long time is, I guess, making some bad business decisions, especially compared to last year. They were getting a lot of hype, getting all these guys that were famous all over the world to wrestle for that big Triple Mania card. Triple Mania card kind of fell on its face, and they've been kind of tumbling since. What do you think?
I say that the death of Paraguara and the death of the lady in the head office, one of the head ladies in that bus accident, that's kind of hard to bounce back from. So whatever the aftermath of that and the bad decision booking, blah, 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 they got a dark cloud hanging over him. He was immediately connected to one of the deaths, Paraguara.
For sure.
And I bet he's still, I don't think it has nothing to do with money as much as he needs to. What are you doing?
What are you real quick?
You can just. It's all good. I think he just wants to just sort of separate himself. I mean, he's with Lucha Underground. They already did the tapings.
Yeah, and so is Sexy Star, who is reportedly same situation, not going to wrestle in AAA. And from what I gather on Conan's podcast is these guys are coming to America wrestling for Lucha Underground. They're realizing, hey, there's no packed bus rides. They're not going to get short from money from the bookers in America anymore. So they're coming over here. And as we've seen, like with maybe Pentagon Jr. Wrestling in Chicago and Toronto and everything, these guys are coming over here and realizing that they get treated a little better. There's catering. We're in even AAA, the biggest company in Mexico. There's not even catering. So I think that they're realizing, they're TV stars here. They could jump over.
Yeah, but I wouldn't factor out the misfortunes that they've had and that sort of. it's affecting the office, is affecting the ring. I wouldn't say that Ray wants to go back to WWE because he's been clamoring to get out of that. I mean, hashtag free Ray forever. So to have all that shit going on and
yeah, this is news, I guess, because then people can jump to say, will Ray be at Mania?
No, he's done with WWE, and I wouldn't be surprised to a certain degree that like this is probably his last go round of wrestling. I mean, why? I don't know what else he needs to accomplish other than to generate more money. Like if it's just a money grab, that what he's doing right now, granted, that's a shame that his legacy, the Rey Mysterio story ends with him chasing a dollar, rather than say, making just a smart decision, staying with somebody and becoming an ambassador moving forward for AAA. They need him.
Sure.
They need stability.
Yeah, I hope this is just a rumbling. I guess, yeah. It's good to see competition. And what I thought AAA was going to be for, like, last year going into this Triple Mania and everything was, like, kind of like what New Japan is doing, like being a product that the hardcore fans from America can watch, even though it is a mainstream version of a place somewhere else, But it looks like, I don't know, I hope they can fix it, but I do say that it's wishful thinking, all the people that think he's going to jump on Mania. As much as the mind tingles of the fantasy booking, I think I don't think it's going to happen. I think he might just stay Lucha Underground, do some indies, because he did just get done doing that successful European tour with AJ Styles and John Morrison and things like that. And there's money to be had in that, especially
a lot of money. But how much more money does Rey Mysterio need, and how much more nicks and bruises? Very much why WWE held him out. The same reason why they're doing with Daniel Bryan. Like, look, dude, you're a hazard to yourself. Just collect a check. Chill. You don't have to wrestle. I know you love wrestling. That's all you know. But just chill the fuck out. Collect this check.
Yeah.
And let's do some business. And as for New Japan, like, imagine Geto being killed in a car accident, and then Jushin Thunder Liger dying in the ring.
Yeah.
That would be like the equivalent to what happened to that. How hard would that be to bounce back from for those guys?
Yeah, of course.
It'd be real hard. So
that's, I think, there's several companies in Japan that's suffering deaths. But on like a lighter note, speaking of Mania and possibilities of Mania, WrestleCon just had a big announcement. That's like kind of the indie thing that like happens because everyone's already at WrestleMania weekend, and they have big stars. From what I can remember on the top of my head, like Shawn Michaels, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy, RVD, Jeff Jarrett. Ring of Honor will be doing their thing there, and they're doing bus trips from the WrestleCon convention where you can drink and everything like that to Cowboy Stadium, which is kind of a cool feature. What do you think, Peter? You're someone who wants to go to WrestleMania.
I'm definitely going again. There's going to be seats.
If
there's ever a time, there's going to be seats at WrestleMania.
Well, with that said, does this lineup entice you to do? Maybe it's Saturday night, Friday night, Sunday morning.
If I take my ass to any big wrestling event, I am not only there for the matches and for the workers. I'm there to party.
Hell yeah.
I'm partying, y'all. Like, fuck this. This is Super Bowl. This is fucking me, like, looking at all the people, looking at all the fans, because, hell, when it comes to wrestling fans, all I know, all I see is you. I mean, more than anything, Arthur, maybe I run into Arthur every once in a while or something, but we hardly ever see each other. Terrence, big up, he bought one of my GSO shirts today.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. But like Terrence, when I run into him, but that's it. That's my wrestling circle. Yeah. I go to if I go to WrestleCade, you know what I'm saying? If I go to CWF or something, PWX, I'm in a room full of people, like-minded people like me that want to see wrestling. But man, WrestleMania, that's like the Mardi Gras, man. Fuck WrestleCon. WrestleCon, great. I'm going to the WrestleCon, but it's about the fucking party, man. Like chicks who like wrestling and shit, you know what I'm saying? WWE and chill, you know what I mean? I would go, Sean and all your guys, I love you to death, but I'm going to fucking get drunk and holler at some chicks, man. Some chicks. Straight up. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, God bless you, Peter.
Sounds exciting, though. Yeah, what up, Sean?
Well, I mean, that sounds
Praise God.
That sounds like where it's going to be, especially with Ring of Honor joining this year. That's the first year that's happening, and that seems like where the party might be at on a Saturday, Friday night, Thursday night.
Wherever the fuck I'm going to be at. When I go.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I got to sell a lot of shirts.
Wale Mania, maybe?
Oh. I thought that was going to be a one-shot deal.
Yeah, they're bringing it back.
They need to bring it back down.
Yeah.
Wale Mania. What a silly. That's so silly.
I mean, he already goes every year, I think.
I know. But it's all Court Bauer. I mean, it's all Court Bauer, his hustle.
Yeah. It's a little party.
Yeah.
They said even Jim Ross even's going to do a thing after the Monday Night Raw. So it's like expanding into Thursday to Monday night. Yeah, so wrestling fans have a full week. But jumping into Raw, what'd you think? Numbers are up from last week. They got the Grammys next week, so we'll see how that plays out.
Will the Usos be there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they already won. So
they're dominated.
No, people are going to...
No, Grammy winning. They won.
Once you win, it's going to be, people accepting awards on their behalf. And, they might big-time it. Because especially their Raw.
This Raw was basically... I feel like it was a placeholder Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it was in Seattle. It was definitely all about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing really that stood out other than the storyline between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose. Everything else was just there was nothing. I mean,
we'll get into it. We'll jump in.
No, but just the overview. I mean, I don't see.
Well, we did have a big turn at the main event of the show, but we'll get into that.
You cared about that?
We'll talk about it. I mean, they announced that it's the Daniel Bryan tribute. He announced earlier that day, so I guess
around 2:00 he put up the Twitter.
Yeah. Twitter just blew up right away. Everything was coming in. People were sharing their moments and their memories and things like that. And they announced that he was going to talk on the show, and he had a special he had not an announcement, but he was going to give a speech about it and everything.
Do you remember? This was the Monday after was it TLC? Was one? Was it Survivor Series? What was the match against Sheamus that he lost? Roman Reigns. The match he lost and then won the belt back. Won it on.
That was Survivor Series.
That was Survivor Series. That Monday Night Raw when he got the belt back. Peter's Raw recap, and then Peter and Jake talks Wrasslin. That was one of the things that I emphasized on. I said, man, there's no way in hell Daniel Bryan's coming back now. And I was just like, no, because, you could talk about protocol, concussions, CTE, lawsuits all day. But a portion of that pie, decision for him to step to the side is because we don't need no diversions to what the push we're trying to give to Roman Reigns. And that was just, they had enough collateral to be like, sorry, bro, we gotta let you go. We gotta.
Well, I mean, reports say that he. We'll get into it. But I'm saying Steph came out.
Contract signing.
Yeah,
right from the jump. I loved it.
Yeah, I think this. I mean, I think we from because of the speech and everything, Raw got kind of shifted around. It was not like your usual Raw with a big talking segment. I guess this was a talking segment, but it had Brock Lesnar in it, so it ended awesome.
Get it out the way, because again, this night is about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
and
Ambrose came out, Roman came out, Brock came out. Heyman got cut off by Stephanie, which led to a bunch of boos. But at the end of the day, they all signed
because she got to cut somebody's nuts off. Yeah. See, you can't cut off Roman's nuts anymore. Dean Ambrose, but the one guy, in the ring
is Heyman.
That
seems like easy pickings. He's like the one guy.
It is.
The one guy who doesn't wrestle. You're right. I didn't think about that, but I didn't think about it to that extent. But yeah, you're right. That is definitely. She picked it up from Hunter, and I hate it when he does it. It's one thing when Vince does it because it's understood. More things involved.
No, but the Stephanie McMahon nut chop. It's just going to be what it is.
Yeah, because I would say
there's no payoff to her.
Exactly. With Vince and Hunter, there's a stunner involved.
Man.
No one's going to do that to Stephanie McMahon.
Or will they?
Well, maybe. The Deli Ziggo heel. Maybe they Mae Younger off the stage. But
I'm just saying.
What it ended up boiling down to was Brock Lesnar threw a table at Roman Reigns, which was ridiculous. And then F5'd Dean Ambrose and then stormed off.
Brock got no pyro. He got the Kane treatment. Did you notice that when he came out? Da dum dum da dum dum da da dum da da dum.
Well, there's just a little segment.
Where was my pyro, man? Like, just like Kane when he didn't have his pyro. Like, man, whoever the fuck, man, tell that son bitch to get off that liquor, man. Like, get off that Twitter account, man. What the hell you doing? Oh, you got one job, man. You got a job. You push the button of the pyro. That's all you do. Usos, Kane, Brock, all those guys. You know what I'm saying? AJ Styles.
I didn't catch that. Yeah, I guess, yeah. You got to hit the Brock pyro. You got
to hit the Brock. He got F5. I guarantee that son bitch got F5. He didn't. He would. That son bitch missed that button. Wish he had 90-day suspension. But and yeah, which I thought, because this segment itself was revolved around the idea that there's going to be no physicality.
Yeah.
You know, but like whatever, dude. Whenever there's a contract, whenever there's a fucking table, it's getting flipped. All right, that's just the way wrestling goes.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing: maybe it was no physicality during the contract signing, but she collected. I actually laughed my ass off. She collected the signatures, and then she kind of looked at everyone. I was like, "Well, my job here is done," and just bounced.
Yeah,
she got the fuck out of there.
Hunter standing at the top of the ramp.
And that's when all hell broke loose, because Ambrose bucks up and gets in fucking Brock Lesnar's face, because he still owes Brock Lesnar a lick somehow, because he F5'd him last week. He's still mad about that. So he just storms around the table, and it's like, Brock is like, what?
Yeah, look, Brock, I think they did a very bad job with Brock at Royal Rumble and everything, but this week I definitely think they got back on track with Brock.
He looked at.
Yeah, like anytime there's like a table or a car door or anything, Brock is going to heave it at somebody. And then, I mean, he definitely F5 Ambrose twice, but we'll talk about that second time. But that
look he had on his face, like, what the fuck? As if it was a shoot. Like, he didn't expect Ambrose to walk around that fucking table like that. And it caught him off guard. He fucked him up. He threw the table on, neutralized Reigns by tossing the table on him. And then he F5s the shit out of him and walks off.
Yeah.
And I just go like, okay, here we go. That's how you open a fucking show. That's how you open a show.
Yeah, and Dean and Roman were talking about it earlier in the back. And then we cut to Kevin Owens and Ziggler. I know, Peter, you probably cringed, but I enjoy this. I wanted to see this every week. What'd you think of this rendition of Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler?
Oh, but before we head to that, during the show, they were doing this hashtag Thank You Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And the first segment before we move forward is Daniel Bryan's debut on NXT, where he taps out to Chris Jericho. His in-ring debut for the WWE. Do you remember watching that match?
Yeah, I remember watching the first NXT.
What was that? You knew of that. I didn't know of Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was excited. I was like, they're gonna just give you a dream match right off the bat, and I thought, like, I didn't think Daniel Bryan was gonna be long in WWE, so I thought, okay, well, at least we got that. He got fired when Nexus jumped over to WWE or to Raw. He like choked out
Josh Matthews.
Yeah, with the cord, and I
bet tie.
Yeah, something happened with that, and he got fired for a little bit. So yeah, I thought that was just going to be it for Daniel Bryan. Actually, I remember thinking that exactly. I was like, well, that was cool that he was there,
and he was shot. Like, he even said his real name. Like, when he goes like, well, it seems like he got let go. You know, he was like, that's okay. Daniel Bryanson will be back. You know, Bryan Danielson, and the camera starts to shake. Like, yeah, go back and watch that if you ever get a chance. But I was like, well, what's up with this guy? Like, I didn't know what his deal was. Jericho won. You know, I wasn't on the internet to hear the outrage, anything like that. So I was just like, yeah, fuck this guy. Like, really? It was one of those things that I found out who Daniel Bryan was later on as his career in the WWE started to go, and I started paying more attention to the IWC and listening to podcasts and watching YouTube clips about the anger of how they're handling Daniel Bryan. So
yeah, and then after Dean and Roman were in the back,
I'm gonna get that sucker before this night is done.
Yeah, we got the Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, pretty much it was great match as always. They've been doing this match a lot lately, but Ziggler put his foot on the ropes to pin him. I mean, they got the face doing some heel tactics. What do you think about that, Peter? That's kind of the breakdown.
That's some old bullshit is what that is. Something I mentioned in the Raw recap. By the way, what up, Destination Music Destination was really good. He loves the show, by the way. So say hi to Music Destination.
What's up, Music Destination?
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, follow him, Jake, at JG Pro Wrestling. I wish there was some sort of backstory to how all of a sudden a guy who was treated like a sack of potatoes is all of a sudden a thorn in the side of Kevin Owens, right? Like, I wish there was some sort of backstory to the fact that all of a sudden Dolph Ziggler's getting all these wins.
Well, there's like a quiet losing streak to Owens. I mean, he lost to Kalisto as well on SmackDown. So
count out.
It was a count. Well, I mean, that's losing.
Yeah.
So I mean, and of course Ziggler put his foot on the rope. So I mean,
I'm just saying, what makes Ziggler win? I wish they would just point that out. B, again, how the fuck, unless they're doing because Ziggler, his Twitter account is still heel. Like, he still carries himself around like a heel.
Yeah.
Like the way he treated fucking
he's like, people cheer him because he's a heel. It's kind of an interesting dynamic that have to keep. It's I would say a true tweener. Like if he lost, because when he started getting all that babyface stuff, people started booing him and saying they were messing with him, like giving him Lana, giving him all that babyface stuff. People didn't like it. He's like, he gets babyface reactions because he's a heel. It's kind of a hard thing you got to play with, but. Even with that said, I still don't like these like chicken shit tactics with putting your foot on the ropes. Like, you can do it like that as long as you have him like win fair in the ring, and then you have him kind of be a cocky asshole behind, right there.
But the thing is, if you watch the show, he always pulls the tights. Like, that motherfucker is infamous for grabbing.
He cheats.
He's infamous for doing that stuff. I mean, he has the fighting spirit.
Do you think we're going to see Kevin Owens maybe talk about this? I really liked how Kevin Owens in this match was not only yelling at Cole, yelling at the fans. We don't see a lot of heels do that on Raw anymore. They come out, they pose, and they walk to the ring, and I think it really takes you away from it. But if you see Kevin Owens there, he's yelling at the opponent, yelling at the ref, yelling at the announcers and the crowd. He's definitely involved with his surroundings that I think a lot of heels really need to pick up on.
No, but he's not as dastardly as he should be to be a true heel, this Kevin Owens. Something as simple as, after getting his ass handed to him in that fucking last man standing match, for the Survivor Series against Dean Ambrose and losing, falling on table, like a pretty brutal spill. He comes out clutching one arm, dragging one foot, and he's out there showing the fighting spirit, and he tosses fucking AJ Styles. He's the guy that eliminates AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Now, was that a heel thing to do by throwing out AJ Styles? Not in that capacity. Not for the fact that, like, he just had his ass handed to him, and then he's fighting while the golden boy is in the back taking a fucking rest. That's some babyface stuff.
Yeah.
Him getting cheered for, like, punking down a 5-year-old kid. Like, oh, look, give me a high five, psych. Oh, man, that was awesome. Like, that's not heel shit. Like, you want to be a heel, you're punching fucking Lynn Garcia in the face, Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, you got a loaded boot or something. You taking motherfuckers out like that. Like, that's heel shit. I think he still rides that line between being very liked. Ziggler, pretty boy, gets whatever he wants, and then even on top of that, when he has that fighting spirit, he has the tendency to take dastardly tactics. Now, him put his foot on the ropes, I'm like, man, all right, I get it. Unless they go and look at Kevin Owens, they go, Kevin Owens, bitch, moan and complain about how this guy cheated, then you know what? He still can maintain a sense of, like, heelness to him, because it's like, stop bitching, stop complaining, take
like
your loss like a man.
Yeah,
take your loss like a man, like some Christian stuff.
Yeah.
One more match. Then he can maintain it. But I see a double turn happening.
I hope something like that happens. I definitely like these two guys in the ring. I mean, this match is really good here, but I think what's happening here is they realize that these two guys, throwing these guys out is gonna be good every time. So they're getting kind of lazy, which is what you said. Like, the face is doing heel tactics. The heel looks like a face half the time. So I think to their own to not the guys in the ring's fault. This is kind of like a weird feud that we're just kind of watching, staying at limbo.
Yeah, and it absolutely has no significance because we don't know the backstory. We knew again
maybe if they made it a number one contender for the IC title, and then you get to say, well, who is Dean facing at Mania or something like that.
But he was an afterthought.
Yeah.
During the Ambrose. He stacked him on top of fucking Ambrose.
Yeah.
And fucking did a cannonball on his ass. Like, that's how much he gave a fuck about Ziggler. Like, I wish there was something where we just went and got into the mind of Ziggler and him wanting to plot revenge and possibly, doing what they're doing with the vaudevillains. Like, there's this something... Things aren't going our way. We're on top of the world now. Like
you see the frustration build.
Yes, you see the frustration build, and I wish we would get that out of the Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens. But now we're getting Kevin Owens. Like he's becoming a victim, and that's why I see the double turn. The only thing that bothered me about this match is the Famouser on the apron, right? And it was a 10 count. It was a pretty brutal move. I mean, it looked pretty badass.
Are you talking about the 10 count? It was a very, very long 9.
Owens gets back into the ring before Dolph Ziggler does. That bothered me.
Well, why? Because the suspension is in the guy that everyone wants to get in the ring last, because then that's the suspension. So that's what you're trying to do.
He got hit with the Famouser on the apron. He should have still been down. And maybe that was at the fault of Ziggler for not getting in the ring before him, because he got in right at fucking like 9.8, right? So like Owens has no other choice but to get up to continue the match to get the finisher that he did by getting in the ring first. Now again, it bothered me, and I'm thinking I'm blaming Ziggler for that. Like you hit that move. I know you want to sell. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Girl Scout cookies. You got to get the fuck back in the ring. You got to suspend people's belief that this motherfucker's hurt and he's going to get in the ring to beat the 10 count, not you. For you to finally get your victory afterwards.
Well, wasn't Ziggler getting worn down prior?
He hit the move. And Owens should have been counted out, just in general, right? Yeah. But he gets the fuck up and he rolls back into the ring.
I know. I remember the spot you're speaking of. And then we had they announced that there's going to be a tables match between the New Day and the Usos later on in the show. And we get a little foreshadowing here. The Usos say you can never be in a tables match without us. We want to be on your team. And, that kind of just sets up maybe what's going to happen at the main event. We get
slow down. You got Daniel Bryan. Thank you, Daniel Bryan, part 2. Oh, yeah. And this is when he defeated The Miz to win the U.S. belt. That's the year that Miz ends up becoming the world champion as well. Yeah,
this was a great feud. I really I remember this when it was on. The U.S. title had like a really good run there with John Morrison, Daniel Bryan, Miz, Alex Riley teaming with The Miz for a little while. I really like those feuds back in the day.
That shit's dope. I mean, I remember watching the Bryan beat The Miz. I was pretty upset because I'm a big Miz fan. I'm not as much of a fan now of because he was more in ring back then. Now he's more personality. But I wasn't angry, but I was like, I only hope that this is something big for The Miz. Maybe he's going to move on to do something better. It led to him headlining WrestleMania and defeating John Cena. There you go.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
and then we had a
Ryback vignette.
Yeah, virtually out of nowhere. I guess they're really pushing these new tights, even though
Shit.
We'll get into it. And then we have Charlotte with Rick, versus Alicia Fox.
SmackDown rematch.
Yeah, we want sausage hands,
and then a figure 8, and then that's it.
Yeah, there was a blip in the match where Charlotte looked like legit frustrated with Alicia, not maybe working snug. But I mean, whatever.
By working snug?
No, by not working snug. Oh. She, it looked like she pushed her on her ass too softly. Charlotte spun around and Lou said, "What was that? I can't bounce off the ropes off that." Kind of said, "What the fuck?" Kind of like a little Randy Orton.
Charlotte got the fucking nerve to tell somebody what to do in the ring. She's a fucking bag of potatoes herself.
I guess you gotta make people believe it somehow.
I know. Alicia's been in the game for a while. I mean, if it's a slip up, it's a slip up. Not working snug enough. Get your ass out of here.
Yeah, I thought the whole match was kind of a hodgepodge. I mean, they're cheering for Sasha.
What the thing that stood out about this in this match is what happened on SmackDown. Again, this is a SmackDown rematch. Just last week, Brie Bella of all, the Dolph Ziggler of the fucking women's division, can't buy a win, can't sniff a win. She ain't even got a win on layaway. You know what I'm saying? She can't even get credit on a fucking win, right? And then all of a sudden she beats the fucking champ, right? And I'm thinking they're going to go down this road of like Ric Flair and the dissension between the two of them and stuff. It's not like he's going to be the manager for her forever. She got the rub. She's all right. You know, Dad, thanks, Pops. But like, she loses to Brie. I'm thinking on SmackDown, she's going to lose to Fox, right? Nope, they don't give the win to Fox. Why are you going to give Brie the win and not give Fox the win, right? Then they do the same damn thing because that's what they do. You know, that's what people don't watch SmackDown for shit like this. You do the match on SmackDown, then you just do the same fucking match on Raw. Yeah. You try to build this fucking brand on USA, you're doing the same shit as if it's still on SmackDown. It's still on Sci-Fi. What the fuck?
I mean, they have gotten me watching SmackDown a little more than I usually do because I just go and watch the AJ Styles match, which, I mean, before I didn't do that at all. And I think next week, Brock's not going to be on Raw, but he's going to be on SmackDown.
Yes, like he should be.
Yeah, so they're doing things like that.
It should be live. It should be live. It should be Super SmackDown next week. And I hope it is. Like, I hope they, what they call it?
Well, I think they're trying to push that time slot. So
My God, I know, man, but it needs to be live. You got Brock Lesnar. You're going to have Brock Lesnar on a fucking taping? Are you nuts?
I really thought this next segment was pretty awesome. Miz, invited Chris Jericho out on the on Miz TV. Chris Jericho immediately turns it into the highlight reel.
Yeah, hijacks that fuck.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And it big ups to the people setting up. It was like 10 seconds. It was done. It was hilarious.
It was like a NASCAR pit stop. That's what it looked like. It was like, They brought down the fucking Titron. They changed the floor. They brought in the fucking chairs. I was like, whoa. Yeah. These guys, they deserve a Slammy.
They revealed that Miz lost a tooth in his match with AJ on SmackDown.
Do you remember seeing that on SmackDown?
I remember the hit, and I remember even Jerry Lawler said, like, you guys are making, just a swinging back fist look like $1 million. But, I mean, I guess it was $1 million. I thought it was a spit. I thought it was like a glob of spit.
I thought it was gum.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. But then he sat down and he started rubbing his teeth. I was like, did he knock his teeth out?
Yeah.
But then come to find out, he actually
awesome. Did. Yeah, and then, they're playing that up, and AJ actually comes out. Both throw out the Miz. It was kind of a big setup, and they stare down each other. I mean, pretty awesome shit. I think maybe before Mania we can get Jericho, Miz, and AJ in a little three-way dance. Fastlane three-way.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, I'd much rather in this situation. I would much rather just see Jericho and AJ. We already got too many fucking three-mans. We got too many three-mans already.
You could do something like this. You could have AJ and Miz at Fastlane with Jericho on commentary, it building somehow to Jericho and AJ at Mania, because that's definitely the money match. So if you can string it out, put Miz into play to carry the mic work with AJ, not necessarily Chris Jericho, and then push them, build them up, because even the people that don't know about AJ Styles want to see The Miz get his ass kicked, and that's a great way to get him over, even for the people that don't know who he is yet.
But they already whooped his ass. That's the thing. I mean, like, the payoff has already happened. Now, my thing is this.
Well, they can make a rematch.
What happened with this right here, this segment itself, because it seemed like they treated Miz like an insignificant stepchild. But the beef was more between The Miz and Jericho. They both of those dudes want AJ. They want a shot at AJ. He whooped Jericho's ass. Well, he beat him. But then Miz lost some teeth. They both want a shot at him. And in that entire exchange, it seemed like Jericho was getting the brunt of the work, right? Mm-hmm. Now, moving into Fastlane, it's not necessary that AJ Styles gets a match at Fastlane. It's not really that necessary, because you already have your big match. Your big match is the triple threat between between Brock Lesnar,
Roman
Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. I would like to see, and maybe if it's even feasible, and maybe if he does get a match, that'd be great. But it would be, the pre-show would be The Miz versus Y2J in the pre-show. Who gets a crack at AJ? Right?
I mean, that's a big match. I mean, that's two former world champions. I can see that jump in the pre-show.
Yes. I feel like that's the thing. Like, who's going to get a crack at him? Because he's the golden goose. He's the new... But outside of that, man, tell me, please, you've never seen AJ before in your life. You've never seen AJ Styles in your life, right? You're watching this guy. What's the first... Man, he looks kind of cool, right? He looks cool. Does anything about his appearance as a casual to you, like you're casual, does it scream redneck to you?
I guess he just has a southern accent.
But you never heard him talk.
Vince hates southern accent, so he's just going to write that in.
But
he talked a little bit here and there, I guess.
But no, the only time he spoke, he said something to Renee Young, they got interrupted by Jericho. We haven't even... He talked long enough to even give his draw. We know he has a draw, but he hasn't been able to speak. They're already labeling him a redneck rookie. Redneck. And I go like, whoa. But he doesn't scream redneck. Why would you even throw the guy under the bus, giving him a character, a persona that we can't even pick up, and it's just raw appearance, right? Why would you do that? It really bothers the living shit out of me. It bothers the fuck out of me. Y'all can call him a rookie all day. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. You ain't nothing. But now you call him a redneck? If he came out in like tight jeans,
I guess that was like more inside. He's jabbing at the internet more so than AJ.
You think? But like I don't know. I don't think redneck screams. IWGP champion, right?
Yeah. I guess.
If he came out in a 10-gallon hat and a fucking wife beater and tight jeans and fucking cowboy boots, right? Then yeah, you know what? That son bitch. Put some fucking, straw in his mouth, right? You make him to
Don't give him ideas, Peter.
He's a goddamn a Godwin, right?
Yeah.
Make that son bitch a Godwin. Yeah, then yes, redneck. But he looks super cool. It's just one of my peeves. Just one of my peeves. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Then we go to Bray versus Ryback, Was there another?
Yeah, thank you, Daniel Bryan.
I didn't write him in, guys.
Thank you, Daniel Bryan. Was the Money in the Bank? Him winning the Money in the Bank and cashing in on the Big Show, right? Big Show. He went to cash his own Big Show. It was a very short title reign that Big Show got.
Really? It was one of those?
Yeah. It was one of those last minute kick. It was one of those.
Like he wins it, then he
Hulk Hogan kickouts that he gave Daniel Bryan when he pinned him. For the belt. I think he beat who was it Kane? He beat Kane, and then Daniel Bryan cashes in and 8-second title reign, because that was something he was sort of jabbing at him about moving forward.
I mean, I definitely remember this one because it was on Raw where like Punk and Zack Ryder and him all stood there with the belts, and I was like, okay, wow, they're moving forward. And now to think like two are gone and
Natalya too,
and one guy's in NXT. Well, I'm talking about that moment on Raw where they're all three were standing there in the ring to open Raw. And then Kofi and Matt Sydal were the tag champions. So there's a lot of indie guys with
Air Boom.
And then look at that, like there's very few of those guys left. So and that wasn't that long ago. So it's kind of
2011.
Yeah, kind of makes me think about time flying and everything like that. But when it happened, I loved it because here's Daniel Bryan with the world title. I know it was a SmackDown title, but it was still pretty awesome. It seems like watching these little vignettes, it seems like every step of the way, Daniel Bryan, you can definitely see he just organically got bigger and
I don't think it was organic.
More. Okay. They definitely, put the belt on him, tried, and then they, tried.
Oh, you're talking about, I think talking about organically, like his size. He got a little too big for me to not think that something fishy was
I wasn't talking about organic. No, I'm talking about in terms of popularity.
Yeah, popularity, yeah.
Yeah,
you can see the snowball becoming a fucking avalanche.
Yeah.
Right there at the beginning. Was he with AJ Lee at the time?
I'm not sure. I didn't think he ever was.
Yeah, they had a little reign together. AJ and Daniel Bryan. You don't remember that?
Oh, like on the television?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think AJ was sleeping with everybody. She came out with Kane, CM Punk, Cena. She did all that stuff. She was crazy at the time.
So by that time that he had become the world champion.
Oh no, didn't they get married or something?
Well, they're supposed to, but it was a plot twist. There was a swerve.
Yeah.
That she became the general manager.
Yeah, that I forgot about that. That was hilarious.
For good reason.
yeah, that was. But I mean, even that shows that they're doing these big things with Daniel Bryan, a guy who was kind of written off as this indie guy. The first term indie darling. I think that he coined it. Like I think Cole said that too when he was at the first time on NXT.
Yeah, the internet really started to catch on. Like the WWE started embracing the internet. Like before. When the first NXT shit was going on, like the first one, I watched it. I remember going to the Borough and watching it in the back.
Yeah, with Chris Jericho.
I was tweeting. I was tweeting about it, like hashtag WWE. WWE themselves hadn't caught on to them trending, even then. And then say move a year and a half later, they started like acknowledging the trending. So hashtag WWE this and that, and get the app. And it's like, man, fuck off. Y'all didn't invent this shit. People were already quirking.
Yeah, they were
shit.
trying to do tout for a little bit. And
Yeah, let the internet take care of the internet. Y'all just keep to the wrestling.
Yeah, then we have the returning Bray back from that 1 week hiatus, and Ryback wearing Goldberg-like tights. It says the big guy on his ass, but that didn't stop the Seattle crowd from chanting Goldberg. It feels like they just got rid of these chants, and Ryback was just now becoming his own guy, like not being called RVD, not being called Goldberg, or any of these things. And then they go to those tights. It seems like an odd decision.
No, the first time I even saw that he had a wardrobe change. Mm-hmm. Wardrobe change was on his Instagram. I saw the photo of just the tights and the gloves, and all I could think to myself, "Good God, this is going to be awesome! Get rid of the onesie." I mean, I understand. Not Goldberg. Goldberg. Ryback over the past couple of months has been evolving, doing new moves, doing new things, and this was one of the things. And the lost tapes. Peter Talk SmackDown, by the way. I recorded one. I didn't get to post it because of running back and forth to Charlotte and whatnot. It will be up tomorrow, by the way. It's something I said. I was like, look, I don't know whose idea it was. Maybe it was his. But maybe he thought he was far past the Goldberg chance enough to be able to throw those son bitches on. Because when he came out on SmackDown, I was like, God almighty, that guy looks like $1 million. That looks awesome. His look... Everything, $1 million.
It already made $1 million in WCW in the 90s.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, dude. Like he looks great. He's someone that I could take seriously.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think he looks good. I thought he was past the Goldberg chance.
Yeah, man. He was.
If he stayed in some kind of tights. I mean, they could have been red. They could have been green. They could have been a dark blue. But to make him black, and then to make him have the gloves and everything like he already has, I mean, you're going to get those chances started back up again.
That sucks, though, man.
I mean, and then in this match, just when you thought he was on the comeback, just like I guess his career, he got hit with the Sister Abigail.
Now, this is where we make the comparisons, right? I think the coolest Sister Abigail I'll ever see, was Daniel Bryan. This was, I think, the Royal Rumble. This is the Royal Rumble that he was not in. He goes up against Bray Wyatt. Mm-hmm. He dives. What do they call that shit? The
suicide dive.
Tope. And he's caught. Fucking wow.
Oh yeah.
Right? Sick is what I've seen. This got to be, if not right there, the second sickest Sister Abigail out of nowhere that I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
He catches that meat hook like it was like, what? Bam! I was like, Bray, cut that out. You got to get over on that. You got to go babyface on shit like that, man.
Bray and the Wyatts are looking real strong, heating them up for Mania. I'm pretty excited about this. I love Bray, and they're talking about doing big things with them, and I mean, I'm stoked.
And to think that there's a little bit of momentum, you get the vignette, you get the change, right? You get the SmackDown spot, right? You get the big win. Not a big win. You get a win.
Why put Ryback in that position if you're going to have Bray win? Why put Bray in if you're going to have Ryback lose?
Was it all a coy? Were they like, oh, new look. Look at this big bad motherfucker, right? They give him the vignette. Ryback's coming, yay. And then he gets in there and gets his ass handed to him in the match. And then he has every piece of bone picked from his fucking body by the Wyatt family. So were they really thinking, was that a ruse on us as, wrestling fans, maybe Ryback fans, to think that they were going to actually start something with this guy because he has all this innovation in his moves and the look, only to eat a couple of fucking beards, I just go, fuck, man, this guy can't get a win. That guy can't get a break. He can't. It sucks. It really sucks.
I bet they wish 24 hours later he would just have been in that Titus O'Neil spot.
You think? You think?
Yeah.
But before you go there, though, there's another thank you, Daniel Bryan, right after this segment, because he picked the new thing right now with Bray Wyatt is cutting these mic-less promos, right? He's like just in the fucking alleyway or in the aisleway and just talking with no microphone. I guess that's his new stick. Thank you, Daniel Bryan, part 4. Mm-hmm. Team Hell No. And
this was awesome.
This was the moment that Daniel Bryan started to tip. And as what's his name from PW Torch, the guy that lives here, Bruce Mitchell.
Yeah.
He took chicken shit and made chicken salad.
Oh yeah. He made a chicken sandwich.
He made a chicken sandwich, yeah. He actually made a chicken.
Yeah,
that motherfucker came to life.
Produces eggs like constantly.
Yeah.
For Daniel Bryan.
And it basically started, I like to think, what we would have see as the Yes Movement.
Yeah, I mean, start with the Kane. I am the tag team.
I am the tag team champion.
Yeah, and then I think these vignettes that were designed to be real, maybe too silly for their own good. I think Kane and Daniel really made them mean something and everything.
Slapstick,
slapstick.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were over. I mean, watch that year at Mania. They were getting it was gigantic reactions at these stadium shows. All doing the yes when he would come out and do the no and everything. And that's when it was I'd say that was the first part where people were saying this is overwhelming. He's just as over as anyone else in the company. I would say at this point.
When we get to the Daniel Bryan speech, there's a moment where I just go this guy. It's a wrap. Yeah. Right? It was 2 moments actually. Two moments.
We'll get there.
And we get there.
Okay. And then we go to the New Day. Still don't have a partner. They're kind of looking around. They're kind of, I feel a little tension, a little tense.
Well, Young is hey, you got an 8-man tables match coming up. They're like, hey, we ain't got no partner. All right.
Yeah, so they look.
Go find a fucking partner.
They look. They find one. Roman and Dean in the back as well.
Still mad.
Yeah, Dean's still pissed. And then we get Titus O'Neil versus Adam Rose and the rest of the Social Outcasts.
Oh, but I guess something I want to point out in that is that they're trying to build the dissension between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose in this, because even at the beginning first segment, right? When Dean Ambrose comes out and confronts Stephanie McMahon, Roman Reigns comes out and she says, hey, every time you have the spotlight, Roman Reigns always tries to get into your spotlight, right? So then here it's Roman's Ambrose hey, I'm still trying to get this motherfucker. And Reigns I want a piece of him too, let's go get him.
Yeah, Stephanie's trying to make a little tension.
Slow your roll, bro. I want him. I don't need your help. I'm going to go at it alone. I'm Sasha Banks here, right?
Yeah. I'm
going to go at it alone. And it's all right, dude, well, go get him, Tiger.
Hell yeah.
And so that was that, you can see this thing. And I guess when we get to the segment where the actual, when he finally gets to him, I want your opinion on something.
All right. Yeah, but the Titus O'Neil Adam Rose match is only real big because the Social Outcasts were distracting him, and Titus O'Neil gets rolled up. Adam Rose wins a match on Raw. It's been months, and O'Neil loses a match on Raw, and that's been a few weeks. So I really thought this feud was going to be real good, but unfortunately, it seems like it's halted for the time being.
They're doing something.
Did you see what they said about the whole push and everything? There's a meme saying that's the only time Vince ever pushed a black guy.
Oh God, that's horrible.
I mean, that's
horrible.
Pretty funny.
I made a comment that's how Vince celebrates Black History Month.
Yeah. It's kind of.
The only time he pushed a black man, that's great. That's actually really great.
Yeah.
The Radical Mongoose. They're doing something with the Outcast that I think is pretty funny. It started off as pretty. I was like, man, that was one time. I was like, this is, how something's so bad that it's good.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's not this. Yeah. But now it's becoming good.
Well, did you see even Jericho? The only shirt he had on for weeks, it was the Social Outcast shirt where he was cheering for Daniel Bryan.
Who?
Jericho came out wearing the Social Outcast shirts at the end. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But even on Thursday. Axel Curtis, he couldn't say rhinoceros. There's a rhinoceros. They got a bunch of rhinos like shooting on the New Day, and here he's like the radical mongoose because he's like the bro of the group, and I think it's like it's pretty funny, but yeah, Outcast making their money, then the distractions roll up, but man, Titus. What are they doing with what are they doing?
I guess they were gonna set it up to where the social outcasts maybe in their like obnoxious ways get the better of Titus, and Titus like looks real strong, taking them all out eventually. But now I guess that's all halted.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryback can step in that position.
Again, he'll be back. He'll be back. Like I'm not buying the suspension.
I was actually a fan. I mean, people say he looks goofy without wrist tape on some podcasts. I think that's the big MSL Kevin Sullivan knock, and like a lot of people don't like him. But I always enjoyed his squash matches. I thought they were entertaining. How he just throws around people. I mean, old school wrestling things like that. You know.
Then this is part 5 of the Daniel Bryan. Thank you, Daniel Bryan show. Is the SummerSlam match with John Cena, where he hits the knee that won him the championship. They don't go into the cash-in by Randy Orton though.
That was a weird moment where they just like they don't want to mention, I guess, where they were really trying to like. I guess maybe show you that they were trying to hold him down, or maybe trying to get you to forget about him, or maybe in storyline trying to get you to hold him down.
I think it was more them keeping Triple H out of the spotlight. This was his moment, even though there was it ended badly. It ended, I guess, tragically. Mm-hmm. It's still him winning and beating Cena was his moment, winning the WWE belt, and they didn't need to add it. At first I was like, why didn't they add that? But I was like, yeah, I get it. This is all about Daniel Bryan's accomplishment, and that itself was an accomplishment. Yeah,
but going back to that moment, I was pretty upset, and then I guess, but it all played out to what we were going to see at Mania that year. But we'll get to that. They showed that. We get Dean coming out to the ring, and he pretty much calls out Brock, kind of runs him down, cuts a promo saying, Brock can't show up, alludes to him, not being able to get a boner. And Brock does show up.
Oh, yeah, he does everything to call that fucker out.
Yeah, whoops his ass, and then Dean stands up and calls him back, and Brock whoops his ass again. I guess it's commendable that Dean doesn't back down to Brock, but it's also good to note that Brock tears him down every time. So it's like you're really getting Dean over as this lunatic, never give up kind of attitude, and you're also getting Brock over because he's the monster that Dean has to stand up to. Dean's not doing this to anybody else, and Brock is tearing this guy down.
This is the rope-a-dope. This is what I like to call an Ollie tactic. What you call is doing is getting into the mindset of he's getting to the head of. Maybe he doesn't have the physical attributes to be able to overtake a Brock Lesnar, but he has toughness, and he has toughness, and he has mental toughness to be able to sustain a bunch of injury and keep getting up. Now, if you're Brock Lesnar and you're giving someone the what for, and you're dropping them on their head and you're sending them through tables, and this guy, he's getting up is like, that's all you got, that's gonna fuck with you. Mm-hmm. So I think. It's one thing for Roman Reigns to have like a physical presence that would overshadow Dean Ambrose' presence in the in this triple threat in this thing, but he has the mental toughness that's, I think, even combined the strength of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is the victor, because if you can fuck with someone's mind, you already got him beat. So you got him dropping him, and it's like, dude, that's all you got. Yeah, they're gonna play into that storyline where there's gonna be Brock. I feel like Brock Lesnar is gonna have more doubt, and he's gonna fixate his attention on keeping Dean Ambrose down.
Yeah,
like I gotta keep. That's my new mission now. I have to keep this guy down because I'm the beast. I'm Brock Lesnar. No one can fuck with me. Who is this guy? Who does this guy think he is? Getting up from 2 F5s, 3 F5s. He ain't nobody. And then that's going to leave it wide open for Roman Reigns to sort of like take advantage because his brain, he's distracted. His brain is distracted. But Roman Reigns does show up in this segment where he was clearly told not to show up. Clearly told. It results in a low blow.
Yeah.
Undertaker style. Now,
the
once
only
you...
thing that can knock Brock down, it seems like.
Huh?
That's the only thing that can knock Brock down.
Yes, yes. Like. Sorry, I got a text message. Yep, that's the only thing. I mean, when you're the beast, you still got the balls, and I don't give a fuck who you are. You're going down once you get kicked in the nuts. You're going down.
Yeah. But once again in the night though, he'll like tactics from the face.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, another. But that goes to show. I mean, I don't.
They just.
I'm not gonna put that in the same vein as Ziggler put.
Yeah, because it wasn't a match, and plus, it was kind of just like knocking him down a peg, just to like look at you and be like, "See, I can do it. You know, I got you. I got your number. You know, you have your weaknesses too."
And that's what he said walking up the ramp. Now he doesn't really look at Roman Reigns, and maybe that's something they will address later on, maybe on SmackDown. He's like, "Hey, man, I told you, I got this. Mm-hmm. I did get the lick in. I do appreciate that because he hit him pretty good." But he's like, "I told you I'd get him." Yeah. But before I guess we move forward, they did a thing with the Black History Month, and it's something that I wanted to address. Even though, like, put aside the Titus O'Neil because whatever, dude, it's just a silly story. But when it comes down to Black History Month and Martin Luther King and anything associated with like other cultures, even though it's a very, very Caucasian-driven industry, the WWE, they probably do the most of any company that I've ever seen, whether it's a television show, whether it's professional athletics, any of these things, to address Black History Month and other cultures, things that happen, whether it's, like, I don't know, like it could be, St. Patrick's Day, or it could be, the Holocaust, the what do they call that? The Holocaust stuff that was going on. What do they call that? When the Jews celebrate the Holocaust and the survivors of the Holocaust.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, anyway,
I don't want to look bad there, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know, but WWE always steps up to the plate to address this, and I want to commend them on that, like straight up. Like, again, how they treat the black wrestlers is one thing, but if there was one thing they got right, it's them acknowledging Black History Month. They use every Monday Night Raw to address Black History Month, and I must commend them for that. Always, yeah. Always. It's always been like that.
Hell yeah.
Always. The troops, Black History Month, anything. Yeah, so.
Fuck yeah, moving on. We had the Lucha Dragons versus Alberto Del Rio, Rusev with Barrett.
No Sheamus.
Yeah, no Sheamus, no Lana. And people were chanting for, Sheamus, I think, is he a little banged up or hurt? Or
maybe. He need to be there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he was world champion.
He did take out Daniel Bryan in fucking 8 seconds.
This
he would probably got so much heat.
If he came out, yeah,
this
is true.
Just knowing that he took that belt from Daniel Bryan. The only thing that stood out to me... Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Sin Cara is back here.
Who? What?
Yeah, well, I'm saying, is this going to stop Kalisto's run? I mean, Alberto did beat him, and they're still going to do the match this, at Fastlane.
Oh, by the way, Sin Cara's back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but Sin Cara's back, guys. Remember that? Hey, he's been out with an injury, and it sucks. So, yay, he's back! By God, Michael! It's Sin Cara! He's back! Well, no one give a fuck!
Yeah, because, people were kind of more worried for Kalisto. They like this Kalisto push. I think Sin Cara might make him go back to, being comfortable in the tag team division. And I like this U.S. title run they're doing with him. I think it could have legs for WrestleMania.
Do a better job making it somewhat of a big deal. Somewhat of a deal at all that Sin Cara's back. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I agree, yeah. I agree. They could have done things. But Del Rio beat Kalisto with the double stomp in the corner, Tree of Woe type maneuver.
I call it the border stomp. That's border stomp.
So Rusev, Del Rio
stomped the shit out of him
with Barrett win. It was a great little match. I'm glad to see Lucha Dragons back for the matches, but I'm kind of worried about Kalisto in the writing.
Well, I've been worried about Kalisto for quite some time. But you know how it goes. Yeah, it's wins and losses. You heard about that tweet from fucking Road Dogg. The guy was like, some guy sent in a tweet saying that, look, man, what the fuck are you doing with Kevin Owens creative? And I guess he tags Road Dogg in it because Road Dogg's, he's creative.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, you had momentum with Kevin Owens. Now he's lost 2 straight matches. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then Road Dogg responds. He goes, wins and losses don't matter. The tweet, yeah, wins and losses don't matter. Yeah. And it's like, you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this is the thing about the Solid Monster. One of the things he even brought up is like, they damn sure matter to Roman Reigns. They damn sure matter to John Cena.
Yeah, that's as much as everyone knows it's a work. I think people want to believe in the strong character. You know, like Goku, you can probably count the times he got his ass kicked. You know, in the whole Dragon Ball Z. You know, Superman has like 1 or 2 guys that can kick his ass. But like, yeah, like you're saying, like even though you know it's a fictional based thing, you still have guys that are stronger than others. And like wrestling is the only thing where you can be like you are the background of a comic book essentially. So you can voice your opinion and say like, fuck that, you need to push this guy, we're cheering for this guy, and that guy has the right to say something to him. And then for Road Dogg, I think to work for the company to say something like that is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it might be, as much as he might believe it, I mean, kind of do like the Okada thing, just say what you're supposed to say instead of what might actually be true.
Well, between him and like Joey Styles, they're 2 Twitter dimwits. You know, yeah. Joey Styles is like, we don't care what you think. You know, like, and then him saying like wins and losses don't matter. Like, don't they take like classes on like internet, like social media, like things to say and not say? Or they're like, yes, stick it to the IWC, stick it to their asses. If you if you get the opportunity, someone's giving you shit, like call them out on it. They ain't shit. We still make our millions. Yeah. We're still the WWE. You know, we're the Shield. Fuck what they think. And I go, fuck.
Well, we're not too far removed from record low ratings, and they're still kind of low comparatively speaking to even like a year ago.
But they should keep, and the fact that he just lays out Kalisto with it's no big deal.
I think it was a tag match. And Alberto did beat him before, so I think, it's kind of a back and forth booking here. But then we go into R-Truth just trying to go to a Jimi Hendrix, exhibit.
He actually went.
Yeah, and but Goldust dressed up as Jimi Hendrix stopped him, and pretty much just like the vignettes have been going through, wants to be his partner, the Golden Truth.
But this is the worst segment they've had since they started doing this.
This is true, and plus it's a gigantic build for what I do think is just going to be a mid-card team. This is the biggest build they've had in a while.
Well, they're giving them the Team Hell No Meat treatment.
Yeah, they're going back and forth.
And so apparently he's in the get-up. The museum. Apparently, he took the museum get-up. Maybe he's on his way. He's like, well, you don't have to go to the museum. I'm in the get-up too. And I have the guitar. And he smashes the guitar. And it's like, dude, don't smash the guitar. That's like, that's a relic right there. Like, that's historic history. So then he gets scooped up by security. And I'm like, that was dumb. You could have done better.
Yeah, that was the more out there one. Like, before they were in the back, like, doing stuff like that.
Damn, we got so much to talk about.
Yeah, then we go to, Tamina versus Becky with Sasha Banks on commentary. Tamina got a win on Raw. I think it's been a while since this has happened. This is a good little match. I think what they are, either they have announced or it's a heavy rumor that it's going to be Becky and Sasha versus Tamina and Naomi at Fastlane. I think that's going to be a good match.
Sasha Banks teaming up with someone is stupid. They did all that to break her away from Team Bad, right? Mm-hmm. During the match, Sasha's on commentary, then Tamina turns and calls her out. Like, fuck you, bitch, come get some. She gets up. Naomi fucks up Sasha Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond belief. I'm just like, whoa, she fucked her up. Then you get the save by Lynch. She goes out. She's like, do I continue the match? Do I go help Becky? Begrudgingly, like, they went back and forth on SmackDown about like who they were as partners and what have you. They're partners apparently. Mm-hmm. Again, Sasha Banks is more into herself than she is Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch is like, I'm here for you. That's what we do. So she goes up, gets Naomi off, gets back into the ring, fucking super kick to the face.
Yeah,
and Tamina, that's how Tamina gets her win.
Yeah,
a distraction super kick.
Yeah, it definitely made Team Bad look good here, and it also kind of played up that like these 2 girls don't know what they're doing here in the WWE, and I guess no one else really does either. But I think this is just going to break away. Sasha's going to get bigger and bigger, and then
let's hope
eventually face Charlotte as she alluded to at the Rumble.
Break free. They don't need. She doesn't really need to team up with Becky Lynch. Like, no, and Becky Lynch can still be like her loner. They come in with these fucking 3 factions, and now they busted the factions, and now they're teaming them up again. It's like, come on, dude, unnecessary. If you want to break people off, break them off. Keep these ladies individuals and let them shine individually. And I understand their storylines, and maybe you want to, just have move one of the Diva storyline to SmackDown.
Well,
okay?
Couldn't you see like with this tension, like you have Naomi and Tamina beat Sasha and Becky, that spills off to a Becky and Sasha feud, which would spill off to a 3-way Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha.
That's too much booking right there. Like, I just want them to look strong. I just want
going into Mania.
I know. I just want them to break off, and whatever the fuck WWE decides they want to run with, just have the fucking testicular fortitude to say, hey, we're gonna get behind this diva, this women's wrestler, and then we're gonna give her a good fucking storyline and a good solo push that's gonna lead to us going like, you know what, you the shit. But we watched the show. They're not trying to make someone big. They're not at all. They don't want anyone showing up to see an individual wrestler. They want someone to show up and watch a WWE product. So as much as we sit back and we want these things, the biggest beef that we can possibly have is the fact that the WWE, in the end, don't want no one to stand out.
This is true. But I think we go into another. Is it another Daniel Bryan?
No. We just find out that the New Day gets Mark Henry.
Yeah, Mark Henry and
they hand him a llama penis, and he puts it on, and I'm confused. I'm like, what? What? Have they turned Mark right now?
They just turned him. Well, maybe he just wanted to help him out a little bit. Yeah. Maybe not turn. Maybe misled by the New Day.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a full turn, but it is kind of ridiculous. They never really know what to do with Mark, but they always find him at the right time. I think he was a great plug for this to go into this main event.
Yeah, I mean, at this moment, I was questioning if he was face or heel. Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah. We love him too much for him to turn heel. And if he did turn heel, not at this capacity. This is too goofy.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the Daniel Bryan thing was like the main part of the show, but the main event is definitely building up through the show, even though it's not the usual suspects, if you will. But I feel like it's a good amount of people. You got the Dudleys, you got the Usos, the New Day, Mark Henry in there, tables match. I think you have enough build up to make it like this is the main event. This is the last match of the show.
How about this? Yeah, it's not the main event. It's the last match of the show.
Yeah, sure.
The only thing that I was waiting for was how was Lillian Garcia going to follow up this week? And we got that.
Hell yeah.
She actually emphasized and slammy, and then you see them point at her, and she kind of gets a kick out of it. I thought it was pretty fun. But I didn't care about this match. There was nothing about this match that I was like looking forward to. I was like, well, because I'm sitting back going, it's only 2 things are going to happen, even going into this. There's either going to be like, just sort of like, whatever, here's a match, get the fuck out of here. This is a bathroom break match before the big speech from Daniel Bryan. Sure. Or B, they're going to give us something. They're going to give us something to sort of sink our teeth into a little bit.
I think they did, though. I mean, Mark Henry bails on the New Day. All hell breaks loose. Big E gets a 3D through the table. The Dudleys and Usos win. But as they're celebrating, the Dudleys jump the Usos. And I think this... Okay, I'm in favor of this because, one, the Dudleys and specifically Bubba Ray is very good as a heel. They're better as a heel. We've already seen the New Day and the Dudleys to death. We've already seen the Usos and the New Day to death. So making the Dudleys and the Usos, one, brings out the Usos because they're going to be facing good heels, so that's going to make people want to cheer the Usos more, and that gives them a number 1 contender shot that doesn't involve the New Day, because the New Day is more over than both of them, so then I think they kind of look lopsided. So to have this number 1 contenders feud puts a new matchup that you can do in the tag division.
You can have that one. If you're listening on the iTunes and on the SoundClouds and on the Podbeans and on the Stitchers, I am not on the camera because that ain't even. That was if a tree falls in the woods moment for me. Like, I don't know what. You look at the tag team division, it's shitty. it always looks like there's hope, but then there's no hope. And we're in another moment where, okay, like, damn, I guess the New Day are the tag team champions. They ran shot on any and everybody that actually had a chance. I mean, whether it was the Dudley Boys face, whether it was they took the belts away from primetime players who are now broken up. Not only broken up, like one of the characters now, even if they tried to reunite them in the next 90 days with the quotations, it's not happening. Where are the Ascension? Where are Los Matadores? Where Lucha Dragons? They've been running with the Kalisto push because Sin Cara has been hurt. The Wyatts are more focused on everything else.
All the upper echelon tag teams like the Wyatts and you could even say the League of Nations are like involved with other things other than the belts. I think you need to do this feud to have a fresh matchup just from week to week. Like, I mean, how many times can you give us the Usos and the New Day? How many times can you give us the Dudleys and the New Day?
I know, but like
to have the Usos and the New Day, have the Usos and the Dudleys. One's going to bring out the Dudleys because they've been sinking like rocks ever since they came back, and they've been
built to sink like rocks.
Sure, but they are great heels. Bully Ray had the TNA title like a year and a half ago as a great heel. He like reinvented the company as this great heel.
Speaking of Bully Ray,
so I'm saying right there, like that's how you can make them. You can obviously make them heels. They're great heels, and I think it's not going to
not as a tag team.
It's not as a yes. That's how they got. No, that's how they got signed to the WWE, and that's how their biggest matches were as heels. In the tables, ladders, and chairs match, they were the heels.
Dude, I could give a flying fuck about a Dudley turn right now. Like what they are right now is like pretty much a gimmick. They're classic pop. They're retro, retroactive right now. Like it's good to see the Dudleys, even though their matches don't really mean shit. They look like they were going to give the belts to them for a 10th time. They're never going to get that 10th belt. They're never going to get it. It's never going to happen, folks. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. It's never going to happen. They would much rather give Bully Ray or Bubba Ray a singles push before they get Devon involved and get a 10th title. And if they were to get a 10th title, they would have kept them babyface to get it. Not as a heel. I really feel like that would be the case. This went over like a fart in church to me. Like, what the fuck? Again, the tag team division is crappy. What? Oh, what? They're mean now? That's going to make all this much of a difference in how they've been booked?
Bubba Ray can cut a fucking promo.
Of course he can.
He can draw a fly to soap. He can cut a good promo. So I think this mini feud that's going to be on, your Raw, your mid card Raw, your mid card SmackDown is just going to be a little bit more fresh than the New Day matchups you can have. And then I think this can also lead to turning the New Day face to then face heel factions like the Wyatts and heel factions like the League of Nations.
You don't need the New Day to turn either. You don't need the New Day to turn. I think.
Well, we just talked about these two. We talked about the heel groups not wanting to face the title, and the people that you would put the New Day with, like the League of Nations, like the Wyatts, are both heels. So you would use the Dudleys to turn them, make them face. They're already getting cheered anyways, and go against these other factions that are on the level of the New Day.
This to me is a really bad idea unless you're trying to do something at a solo capacity with Bubba. And you're giving all the praise to Bubba right now. You're not saying anything about Devon.
Well, Devon's great, but he's not as good on the mic. And I feel like as you get older, you got to be better on the mic.
Word through the grapevine. You don't watch SmackDown, so I don't care. I mean, I'm pretty upset that I found out about it already. But like, apparently the SmackDown taping, Bubba Ray cuts a promo on Daniel Bryan being soft, right?
Hey,
I mean, it's an opportunity. I guess I get it. But again, a heel tag team, just out of nowhere, the Dudley Boys. Why are you turning heel? Because things aren't going our way. And it's not because it's not like the Usos did anything to them.
Well, the Usos had the nerve to jump in their match. I think that's what he's saying. It's like the tables match was their match. They're kind of insulted that they weren't involved. They're going to show that they beat the New Day, the tag champs, in the tables match, and then they can beat anyone else.
You think that's a good booking? You think that's good booking?
Because then it makes you have a fresh matchup in the tag division, which is what you need, because it was getting real stale. Because the New Day had already ran through everybody.
You know what that booking sounds like to me? It sounds like something from Total Divas. It sounds like something that generated from, oh my God, like we are the people who did this. So fuck you, we're gonna kick your ass because
so they're getting heat from you already with this Bryan promo that hasn't even happened yet, and this turn.
Oh, here you go. No, I just don't care. I don't care much about the tag team division, and it's very unfortunate that the Dudley Boys come back, and it looks like they're gonna run with them because, like, hell yeah, like Devon, get the tables, like that's great stuff. That's great stuff. If you want to run with them and be a nostalgia act and actually and go in and really do some work and shake up the tag team division as baby faces, then great. I mean, I think that's awesome. Maybe the tag team division looks depleted, but it's if they all of a sudden started getting Rowan and Harper towards some shit, and then they start doing Del Rio and Rusev, who work really amazing together, have them going towards the belt, then yes, you don't necessarily have to turn the Dudley Boys. But now they turn them, but they have no one to face but one group. I'm not thinking WrestleMania. I'm just thinking moving forward in general. The Dudley Boys are done.
Oh yeah, they're old. They should be. I'm surprised they're signed to the WWE. But if you're going to use them as when they're at their best, which is cutting heel promos, just like you're already talking about. We're already talking about the heel promos. When's the last time we talked about a Dudley Boys promo since they've come back? We're already talking about shit that's going to come out tomorrow.
He's man amongst boys. Whenever he gets on the microphone,
that's what I'm saying. They need heels. They need heels.
Bubba Ray, yeah, it's good stuff.
I think you can get a little more out of them. You can get a little more than you were getting out of them as face groups for sure. But then I guess we're talking about what everyone else has already talked about. What everyone's for the past few days. I guess Daniel Bryan comes out. What did you think of the speech? I thought it wasn't as sad as I thought it was gonna be, which was great. He only really choked up once when he was talking about his father, of course. But when he really talked about like the joy of actually wrestling, I think. We've heard the Shawn Michaels, the Edge retirement speeches. He was the one that really I guess he has the benefit of watching those two. He made this one about like what he's gonna miss and how great he liked wrestling. Than I think the others didn't do, and I thought it was really good. Talking about diving through the rope, talking about closing his eyes and wanting to hear it. It was really really cool. I liked it. I mean, what did you think?
The ovation was the thing that got me. I mean, the ovation he got by stepping out there because they gave him 30 minutes. He went on at fucking 11 o'clock. They gave him a 30-minute segment. 5 minutes of that was ovation. Just a sustained pop. Just boom. No one can get that. The only person that can probably get that is fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. Back in his hottest days. And he was active wrestler, This motherfucker ain't wrestled since the summer. Yeah. And his momentum, even if it was Washington, they could have done this in fucking Mobile, Alabama. It'd been the same effect. That's what this guy does.
I remember when they were gearing up for WrestleMania 30 and everything. I mean, Major League Baseball teams were just doing it. Major League Baseball stadiums, college basketball stadiums, like they showed, were just doing this chant. Like
Michigan State. That's
it was bigger than like wrestling. Like people saw it on. All over the news, you couldn't help but see it, even if you didn't know that it was because of this wrestling guy, this wrestler. You knew about doing it, and it was something that anyone could do, and it was so simple. It was reminiscent. Stone Cold just said what he just said yes and no, and you can just switch it off. Really simple, really easy, and I think it's something we said. He was the most over guy in the last
15 years.
15 years, yeah. Even. I mean,
Cena, when Cena was red hot, that's the only thing you can really...
most definitely. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Cena, but that whole stadium was doing that. I can't remember, other than Austin Rock, and, that's really it. That's really all I can remember with, because when Brett and Shawn were doing their thing as over as they were, it was Coliseums. It was 15, 20, even the Manias at the time. Well, the WrestleMania 30 to be in 80 plus or 70 or whatever it was, I think he's one of the top 5 guys in that moment of all time.
the girl, they shoot this girl and she just can't hold it together.
Yeah. I
That was pretty
You
funny.
also have Hogan. I mean, but think
No,
about
I'm talking about
these guys
in the
comparing
crowd.
to.
There's a shot in the crowd of a girl. He just can't hold it together.
Yeah,
She's crying her
I
ass
know
off.
what you meant.
He talks about him cutting his hair. I saw a photo. Someone posted like, "Yo, this happened today." Like it was a Mark on from Seattle. He took a picture, put it on the Solid Monster Sounds Off page, and it was like a hairless, basically a shorter hair. I was like, man, like, ooh, yeah, is he retiring? I was like, yeah, he is retiring. Like, this ain't no work now. Because at first everyone's like, maybe he'll show up in the, the salmon suit. But
that was just, I think that was wishful thinking for sure.
Yeah, but he shows up. He talks about wigs for kids. He gives a great speech. He gets his last yes chant. Bree comes out. Again, he went through the things he loved, the things that he's going to miss, and things of that nature. He gives a shout out to his family. He walks over to the announce booth. Saxton, Cole, JBL, and then once it goes off the air, it shoots a live stream to the network.
Yeah, if you watch that, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, because I watched the stream, the bootleg, and and they shoot to him basically walking around the crowd, dapping everyone up, everyone in the front row. Then he walks, up the ramp where Bree is waiting for him, and then he goes up the ramp, and then there's Vince McMahon to give him a hug. And I swear to God, that was one of the stiffest hugs I've ever seen in my life, to a very serious moment. Because he cuts this edge-like promo. He cuts this edge like, hey, I have to stop doing this. They talk about the concussion. You don't, that's when you break the fourth wall, like him openly talking about his issues with concussions as a wrestler. Like, that don't happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's weird. Because you don't want to, this is a fantasy world.
Yeah, these guys larger than life.
Yeah, this ain't baseball where you can talk about injuries and concussions of football or basketball. Like, those avenues, there are avenues to express that. That's part of the game plan, whether someone's playing or not.
Sure.
In wrestling, it's like, no, you don't blend. It's like
too much real.
Yeah, it's too real. It's way too real. It's almost like, if Superman all of a sudden, like, Stan Lee is talking about how he can't write anymore, how he can't write Superman anymore because he's getting dementia or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to hear that type shit. So that was something that blew me away. And then you look at what's going on, and I said before, even so much so that Roman Reigns is getting this push, and they don't need a distraction like a Daniel Bryan. With all the guys that are in this, Maroon, is his name? No, that's not Maroon. It's the other guy, because he was part of the whole cover-up for the NFL about the concussions. He works. He's the guy that won't clear Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Because he still works for the NFL as well. And he's trying to cover his ass with all the lawsuits and all this stuff coming his way about, like, him covering up concussion issues and CTE and all that stuff.
Yeah, they said, I don't know if you watched the coach interview that he did. Daniel Bryan was on the ESPN News on Tuesday night when they do the off the top rope segment with Coachman and everything, and he said, like, he did a test as of last week where it was official to him that he might be prone to seizures. He has a lesion, acute lesion in his head. I'm not a doctor. I just really learned that word today.
He stayed in a Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. So that's kind of why, and like it's kind of the same thing you hear where he wants to have a kid and he doesn't want to have these brain injuries affecting him. So he's just, I guess,
I think that
stopping at, not maybe while he's ahead, but stopping at while he can get what he can.
I think that was a work. I think he has to follow protocol here. I think he has to follow the rules. He has to, he's under contract. He's getting a lot of money. He's begrudgingly stopping this. I mean, if he wasn't so silly in the first place, openly talking about how many concussions and laughing him off, we wouldn't be here. But he dug his own grave by talking leisurely about the concussions and so like, no. This ain't sports like it used to be. This concussion thing is serious business. It's serious stuff. And there's a lot more attached to it than meets the eye. This is about to affect an entire league in NFL. This whole thing is going to change the landscape over the next 5-10 years. So when you're a wrestler, again, you don't want to combine the two sports and entertainment things, but them getting out there outside of what CM Punk is saying about how the fucking wrestling, how the people, the physicians and stuff are half-assed.
Treating them,
Yeah, and the lawsuits coming from different wrestlers who are claiming that very much like the NFL guys, they were not given the information and they have these symptoms, so they want their money. And then just the lawsuits in the NFL, just in general. I mean, this is some shit, and I think because the WWE is such a huge business, and Daniel Bryan is such a huge star, he has to step off. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, whether he loves it or not. Now, if he goes off, he breaks his contract and goes off, then you know what? He dug himself his own grave. If he's smart, he would just go along with it. But the guy's, 37?
Yeah.
And he's on contract for the next 5 years. Like, he's still on his contract. That 5-year window is when he should be laying it down. Like, this guy still got some fight in him. This guy got big matches left up in him. You look at all the greats. When it's time to fucking turn it on, you're 36, 37, 38. And then you do that 5 to 6 year window where you just, everything is happening for you. He's worked all his life. But like you said, I've wrestled outside of gas stations and empty fucking stadium, YMCA's, to having 70,000 people yell yes. He's been waiting for his entire life, and that was just the tip of the tip of the iceberg.
I don't know. He's one of the most over guys of all time. I don't know if that's tip of the iceberg type shit that he went through, like with WrestleMania 30 and everything. But
he was just sniffing it. Like he was just sniffing the potential of him being one of the biggest stars that wrestling, not WWE, or I'm talking wrestling has ever seen. Oh, and he's gonna miss out on all of it.
I mean, I'm not trying to get a number two, but I think he's definitely he's in a short list of people. If you watched how over he was for, like, the Team Hell No Manias, he was getting cheered just like he was in the WrestleMania 30s. It was 2 or 3 year period where 70,000, 80,000 people were cheering for him.
And they dictated how he was being booked too. When he joined the Wyatt family,
yeah, they tried. As much as they probably brush it off now and make it just as much as part of the show as anything else, I'm sorry, they did not want this guy to be the guy. He was definitely a thorn in their side, I think, the whole time. I mean, WrestleMania 30 was originally going to be Batista and Randy Orton. They had to change it, or WrestleMania would have been hijacked. I mean, it definitely was.
Motherfuckers was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, when he joined, I think, and what I said earlier, there was 2 instances where I was like, man, this kid's about to take off. And it was a SmackDown. It was SmackDown taping. And he just goes, it's Team Hell No. I don't know if it's Team Hell No, but like it's the Shield versus somebody, and then Team Hell No just sort of shows up to like fuck up the damn Shield, and like Daniel Bryan just goes ballistic. It's like his moment. It's like his moment where he takes out, he fucking German suplexes Rollins, almost breaks his neck. Like it was. Then he dives on fucking Roman Reigns, and he fucking just fucks up Dean Ambrose, and he's like, yes. It's like this moment. I cannot tell you. Just type in, if you're on YouTube, just type in Daniel Bryan takes out the Shield, and it was a SmackDown taping. This canned noise, canned heat. There was no canned heat in this fucking situation. That was pure crowd reaction. Where I go, that's where the shit takes off. Then when he broke up with the Wyatts, they put him in the Wyatt fucking
cage
for 2 weeks. Yeah, dude, when he fucking like breaks out of that and that crowd fucking loses it.
Oh yeah,
he has a concussion the entire time. That's the storyline in that. He doesn't remember it. One of the biggest moments of his career, he doesn't remember. He gets out of Sister Abigail. He fucks up Bray Wyatt. Gets on top of the cage. Actually, if you're watching on YouTube, that's the last part of the intro. Him on top of the cage yelling yes, yes, yes after he's taken out the Wyatts. And I go, man, sky's the limit for this kid. Like, this is amazing. And again, you talk about him being popular. I'm not talking about him not being popular. I'm just saying, this was the beginning of of him owning all that is wrestling. Owning. Steve who? John what? Ultimate huh? Like, I'm talking, can I smell who? Smell what? He was going to be the face of wrestling moving forward. And he's going to miss on that opportunity to be possibly, the whatever Mount Rushmore you got, you may as well took one of those heads off and just put him on there within that 5 years that he doesn't have anymore from now.
This is true. This
Yeah,
is true.
yeah.
It's a sad thing. But I think they did it well. I think he did it well. I think he carried himself well. And that seems to be what everyone's saying about him, that he's always been a kind of a stand-up guy. Mentioned that him and Ryback had like a moment in the backstage, and him and Bree had a moment backstage. So that's why he kind of was maybe cried out. Didn't really want to cry out in front of everybody else.
And he didn't want to kick Vince McMahon's ass either. and like, you know, could you imagine? He has to hug this guy who just said, "Hey man, no more."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to fucking go near you. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Keep us in separate rooms.
that's maybe why I think Titus might be taking the brunt of that frustration.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That
dude.
happy-go-lucky motherfucker didn't know what was going on. I was like, "Yeah, everyone's happy. I'm gonna
What's up, Vince? What's up, Vince?"
That's up." And then boom, man. Even had the face Seahawks shirt on.
Yeah, I think. But yeah, that was. Don't piss people off. That's the pettiness of wrestling.
Yeah.
Especially don't piss off the boss. I mean, it's probably not the first time he's actually raggled up. He's like, Titus, Titus.
In fact, there was on camera after a moment that he probably all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Almost like, you remember that's when he faked his death when he gets into the limo. That Paul London guy, he got fired because during that skit. Do you remember hearing about this?
Yeah, it's funny.
And
that
he
you
was
said the Paul London
smiling.
guy.
He was smiling during this really serious angle. And, you know, just sort of this dumb, goofy smile on his face. And Vince was like, "You're fired, dude. Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah. There you go.
What's so funny? I said Paul London.
Oh, that Paul London guy. I mean, Paul London's a recognizable name, former Ring of Honor champion. I think he writes for Lucha Underground right now. He's very well respected.
That guy he could glide like no one you'd ever seen.
Yeah, he was great.
I don't know if you see that promo with him and Daniel Bryan.
But I don't know if he won the world title, but I know he definitely faced for it with Samoa Joe. That was a great match.
You ever see that promo of him and Daniel Bryan cut where Daniel Bryan he's pretending to be high, but Paul London is high as hell, and they're calling themselves like the Dolphins or something like that, the Ultra Dolphins. It's something silly.
Paul
Like they
London
call him
seems to stay high as
fish.
hell.
They call them fish. They call themselves fish at some point, and like he's dead serious. Daniel Bryan cannot keep it together because Paul London is just like he's just cutting this weird fucking promo. Like just look, you don't know what I'm talking about.
I think I have references of what you're talking about in my brain, but
I think they call themselves the Mighty Dolphins of wrestling or something like some wizard. We're the wizards of wrestling. Oh well, are we gonna? Is this where we end?
yeah,
where we end?
I guess. I thought it was very interesting. Maybe a quote from Daniel Bryan on the Coachman show where he said, like, in wrestling we say a lot of things we wish were true, but this was the only time in wrestling where he had to cut a promo saying something he wished wasn't true. And I thought that was a very interesting way to put it. If you haven't seen that, I would definitely watch that. It was a very interesting interview today. But yeah, if you want to follow me at JG Pro Wrestling, listen to me on SoundCloud.com/JG Pro Wrestling, where I do Fast in the World podcast. It's an NXT podcast. It's up every Thursday night or every Thursday morning. Check it out.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I PJTW Central. That's my Twitter, and also Ellen Japanese, LINJAPA, whatever, you know what it is. You haven't added me yet, so fuck you. Again, big shout out to the homie Music Destination.
Hell yeah.
Again, it's been a busy last 2 weeks, so I've been kind of slack on things, but next week things have slowed down. No more shirt. Well, I still got the shirt business going, just like this. You know, cut the music. .etsy.co. This is a personalized snap code. I can make this for you. You can walk around and have bitches walking up to you and follow you, eat tacos on Snapchat. So yeah, Peter's Raw Recap, New Day Podcast, Peter Talks Sports, Peter and Jake Talks Wrasslin. This is episode 78. We're going to be episode 78 next year. And then we have Peter Talks SmackDown. Episode 49, I think. Episode 49 will be up. And then the next day, episode 50. So those who were waiting for a Peter Talks SmackDown from last week will get both that and the latest SmackDown review this week. And that's it. Subscribe below. See, normally the table's here. Yeah. So when I point down, it's like I'm pointing at my junk. So now when I point down, you know I'm not pointing at my junk.
Pointing at his running knee.
I'm pointing at my shining wizard.
Yeah.
And subscribe if you're listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean. Add us to your favorites playlist. Hit the like button, the heart button, the thumbs up button, any and everything that says that you dig it.
Oh yeah.
Press it. And then the most important thing you can do, other than leave a comment below to say how good looking I am, not we, I.
He's got to put himself over, folks.
Damn right.
No one else will.
Damn right. I'm the Triple H of podcast. I'm going over. I'm going over. Am I going over? And then sharing. Sharing is caring. That's something that helps us gain new fans. Just because if you share us on your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter, it lets people know that we exist. We've been going a year and a half strong, a little over a year and a half strong now, and we would appreciate more fans. So, yeah. I mean, this is a labor of love. We're not getting paid yet, but the thing that could help us definitely is just having more viewers, more subscribers. So be sure to take part in spreading the PJTW Central message.
Hell yeah.
You have any last words there, Cam Newton? You should just walk off. Yeah. Watch out for those foreign objects.